to the women's locker room. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. Men, grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. Women, when you see these men in the locker room, I don't give a fuck how they present. You scream, men.
Hi everybody, it is Princess Ariel. I did want to do a follow-up video about the gym situation with Tish and the young trans woman that she was very upset with. It kind of just reminded me of my transition and how all of that came about and how I was outed by a friend. So if you're a young trans-identified black dark-skinned person, listen in on this story so you can learn some things about colorism, you know, and the hatred of transgender people, because this is pretty much what happened to me and my story. And it to me, my heart is still, to this day, I'm still heartbroken about some things, but in the end, I'm happy that I'm alive. So, back in 1999, I was on the brinks of suicide. Like, I literally had been in Florida for damn near 8 or 9 years, working at Disney in the parks, in the parades department at Magic Kingdom. I also partied a lot on the weekends over at Disney Pleasure Island at the time. They've torn all that stuff down now, but back then they had nightclubs. So I used to be one of the little VIP girls into the club, flirting with the managers and people, and I would just get into the back door. It was a little straight bar. And life was good. I was, you know, the girl of the night, having fun, meeting guys, and just living my life as a girl, but not really actually claiming it, you know, because I really didn't know what trans was. Well, when I would go out with my gay friend, we'll just call him Aladdin, we would go out to the gay bars, the local bars and stuff. I would go with him, and people would really treat me really horrible in those bars. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel a part of anything. I didn't see myself in any of that. And it made me feel like I didn't belong anywhere, because I hadn't discovered or didn't know what trans meant, and I didn't see that for myself. I knew deep down that I was feminine, I was very girly from the door, and it was causing a lot of problems growing up as a kid. So about 16, 17, I began to feel suicidal because I couldn't turn off the femininity inside of me that was just in everybody's face, and it was pissing people off, mainly people who look like me, dark-skinned brown people, because that's where I grew up. I can't really include white people in this story at that entry point because I was in a little black town. So, in Arcancianas. And so, that was 16 and 17. I was feeling suicidal then. Fast forward, I'm at Disney after college. It's in 1999, and a girl says to me, "You're trans," on the day that I felt like I was going to take all the pills, get off the planet. It was that serious, because I didn't feel connected to the gay community like that. And everything about them felt foreign to me, and the way that they treated me, I felt foreign because of the way that they communicated with me in such a negative, toxic way. And so that's when I started feeling suicidal. I just wanted to get off the planet. I didn't want to live anymore. And a guy that worked in the park, he actually came up to me one day and said, "Hey, can you hang out with my girlfriend? She just got here from Mexico." So I said, "Sure." I took her to the club. We hung out for a day or two, and I just happened to meet her on the day where I was going to take the pills and, you know, attempt to leave the planet. And she said to me, "Why do you wear your clothes like that? You need to be more sexy." In her broken English, because she couldn't speak English that good. And so I said to her, what do you mean?" She goes, "You're a girl." And I was like, "What do you mean I'm a girl?" And she goes, "You're trans." And that was the first time that word penetrated my soul in a way that it resonated with me, and it stopped me in my tracks from taking my life, because I I just didn't know what the hell was going on. I was getting assaulted and essayed and everything in the process of figuring all of this out. And it was very difficult. And I thank God that girl said that word to me that day because it saved my life. And it kind of like sent me down a rabbit hole. So I went to see doctors, gender doctors, and they very quickly they was looking at me like, bitch, you're a what? And I was like, I'm a boy, but I feel like I'm a girl. Like I need to change. Like I need to fix this. I need to be trans or whatever. Like the language was so foreign to me. Everything was so fresh. And they could see something was going on. Like I was crying and I was shaking. I was trying to figure it all out like really quickly because the window was closing in on me like this. And I just didn't feel a connection like until that day when that girl said that to me. And thank God she saved my life. So the doctors helped me get me on the hormones. They tested your blood. They test your blood. Back then, they make you go see psychiatrists and stuff. I paid to go and see them. The first one didn't work out. It was a man. He was just too. I didn't like his personality and stuff. He just seemed like wasn't even listening. The second one, I got a woman. She clearly was understanding where I was coming from with everything. And I got on hormones like right away. Like I started taking the pills, Premarin, and then I was taking the blockers. And so I was keeping it to myself. I didn't want people at work to know right away because I need to talk to my family about it. Because, once you start living your life opposite to what you're, assigned at birth, the people around you need to know. So that's what I commenced to doing, telling my family, telling my mom, telling my siblings, telling my relatives and stuff like that. And they were here in Arcancianas. I was still in Florida when I was telling them this. And at the time, I owned a house. I had a car. I had a Jeep. I had all these things. I was working in the parades and stuff and getting to travel. And I had high seniority, so I was making really good money. So I could afford to do do my treatments and stuff. I could afford to pay my mortgage. I could afford to pay for my Jeep. I had all these things going on. Well, I confided in one of the gay guys at my job that I was trans and that I was transitioning, but I didn't think anything about it. But he went behind my back and told my boss, and she felt the way. She was non-melanated woman, white. And she thought she was the shit. So me and her started bumping heads like right away. And I couldn't believe that he went behind my back and told her in a way that they were sneakily doing stuff, coming down at the end of the parade. When I would come off the parade route and I would take the Eeyore head off, they would be measuring my hairline to see if my hair was too long, if I was growing out my hair, telling me I need to cut my hair, I need to have a man's haircut. And I was just like, where's all this coming from? You hired me with this exact hair that I have. Now all of a sudden my hair is a problem 9 or 10 years later. Like I've been with this company forever. What are you talking about? So that was her way of, trying to get me to confess that I was trans. So when I finally told her, then she snatched my seniority away from me, made it where I could only be Tweedledum in the parks. It was very hot, so I was on the moans, and I would get sick because you're not supposed to be in the sun when you're on the moans. Like it just fucks with your body. You get very dizzy, you throw up, you vomit, all this nasty stuff. And she would hide in the bushes, and when I come off the set, yell at me and tell me, hey, you can't use these bathrooms anymore. You can only use bathrooms far away. And I'd have to go to Space Mountain under the tunnel and use the bathrooms down at these little cubby hole that the girls knew who I was that worked in the restaurant down there. So they're like, what are you doing down here? And I was like, oh, don't ask. My boss found out I was trans and she doesn't like it. We should be quiet. And so that was pretty much what happened. They told me, just go ahead and use the bathroom. We don't care. We're sorry that you're experiencing that. And to make a long story short, I ended up leaving. I put my 2 weeks notice in and I quit because I couldn't keep up with all, my mortgage and my payments with her cutting my hours the way that she did. And I couldn't get a job anywhere else fast enough to make the payment. So I had to give the house back to the bank. The Jeep eventually got repoed. I lost everything. I put everything in storage, and everything got sold at auction once I missed the payment. So I lost all of my 10 years worth of hard work in collecting memorabilia, clothes, my furniture, everything, and nobody cared. Nobody to this day cares about that. And I'm telling a lot of you young black trans kids, because you're dark skinned, you think the world is looking at you and seeing your full humanity. A lot of times they won't see your full humanity because we have a system that's at play in our government that tells us that we're less than, even though we know that we're not, and we know that, you know, we are the best of them all, and we're beautiful just the way we are. We shouldn't have to alter our looks, our face, or anything to fit that European aesthetics that a lot of people love so much. They don't like your big nose. They don't like your big eyes. I've had people call me cow and fat and moo and all kinds of things. They've called me the N-word. They've called me everything in the book. They have not seen my full humanity. But I see my full humanity. And I thank God every day that I transitioned, because it saved my life. And I have been struggling for 30 years because I come from a small town. I just didn't know what trans was. And I thank God somebody from Mexico said that to me. And I love that girl. She saved my life. And so when you see people like Tish and stuff like that, I try to show them ladies some grace, even though they're the worst version of transphobes and TERFs that I've ever seen. And the way she looks like, you know, masculine herself, to be sitting there, you know, attacking someone non-melanated. That person is not going to have the experiences that I had. She's going to have a support system there for her, which was all of these girls on the T.S. Madison show were upset there defending her, which rightfully they should. But when it came to someone who looks like me, them girls ain't gonna see it for me, okay? I'm just gonna let you know. You can look at all of them up there. They're all pretty, they're petite, and all different. They've, you know, faces all, put together and everything, and all the perfections of everything. I never pretty much fit those aesthetics anyway, but I never felt less than. I never felt like a brick or an oven or a piece of furniture, or whatever acronyms they use to denigrate my existence of who I am and how I look. I'm not saying that they've done it. I'm just saying that that is the aesthetics of most people like that in Hollywood. They look more towards the European look. You'll see them girls with them wigs with that straight hair, when we know our hair comes coiled for 4C, a lot of us. And so, and I'm not saying anything negative about that, because I've done those things. I've done all the things. And I don't have any regrets. I just thank God every day I've walked this earth by myself. I didn't walk it holding hands with any of them girls. So when I hear them talking, I appreciate their insight on everything. It just kind of goes over my head a little bit, because I know they don't see it for me. They would never see it for me. A lot of people will not see it for me. But you have to see it for yourself when nobody will see it for you. Because like I said, I almost lost my life. And I just want to leave you with this. Nobody can know your heart and know your soul and see your full humanity better than you. It starts with you when you see yourself and affirm yourself and say, I exist, I am, this is who I am, and fuck what anybody else thinks. And when someone digs a hole for you, remind them, dig one for themselves, because the hole they put you in is the one they're going to fall right into the next hole right next to you, I promise you. I have seen so much, and I've been through so much in my little short time as a trans woman from age 31 moving forward. The job losses, the stares, all of those things. But it didn't stop me. And there's love. There's love for you. It may come from animals. It may come from your walk in the streets, just getting away from people and breathing air and in your sunshine. Don't let people take those things away from you. Don't let a Tish come in and destroy your humanity. If she don't see it for you, that's okay, because a lot of people ain't going to see it for her, because guess what? She's trapped in colorism too. whether she likes it or not. It could have been some white women in there who were offended by the way she looks. And that's her natural look. A lot of women don't look feminine and stuff like that. It goes all, women come in all shapes, sizes, and forms, but the societal norm in America is the white Anglo look. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. And whether them girls get up on the T.S. Madison Project or any other Olay show or whatever, they're not going to really say that because they're in Hollywood. They have to look a certain way. They have to present a certain way. And if you don't present a certain way and you have dark skin and stuff like that and you don't look very feminine, they're going to eat your ass up like they ate that trans woman up, the one that they were calling a brick. So always remember language matters, and the things that you put out into the world can come back to you to bite you. You know, always be careful of how you treat others, and don't ever treat people the way that they treated you. You don't have to go back and be mean to them. Even though deep down inside of me, child, my mother knew me so well. She goes, your very thoughts are going to get you in the perils of hell. Because I am one of those people who match energy. If you don't see it for you, bitch, I don't see it for you. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't see it for you. I don't see it for your kids. I don't see it for that neighborhood you live in. I don't give two fucks. A bomb could hit that bitch, and that's just, you know, deep down inside of me. I'm evil like that. But I tap all of that stuff down because what is that going to solve? You know, matching energy and being evil, just as evil as the next person, it's not going to get you anywhere. So I'm sharing that with you, and that's just between us, you know, from gender to gender. And I really want the LGBTQ youth people, please follow my page. I love every last one of you, regardless if you love me or not, or you see it and don't see it for me. I still see and pray it for you to have it a lot better than the way I had to go through and what I've been through in my life. But I thank God every day I would do it all over again if I could just get to this point of my life where I am right now since I transitioned. And it was a blessing because I'm still here and I'm happy. I feel such a weight lifted off of me, you know, surviving most of my childhood and my teen years and my young adult years in limbo and not being treated fairly by society that didn't see it for me because I couldn't present masculine. I couldn't present the way that they felt like I should be presenting, and it caused such a tear in my soul that it's not repairable. And sometimes I have to cry about it. I don't cry as much as I used to. I used to cry every day. I don't cry that much anymore because those scars are almost gone. I don't feel them and see them anymore. But I remember. Never forget. But I want you to know that you're loved and respected and affirmed. And you affirm yourself first. Don't allow their inner demons and inner thoughts to get to you to make you take your life and stuff like that. Don't be, you know, having negative thoughts because the world around you feels so toxic. There's some really beautiful people, and God will send them to you. He'll send you birds and animals and things will come up to you and embrace you. When the humanity part is gone, God will send something else to you. I do believe that. So don't ever give up on yourself, and don't ever allow someone else's opinions and thoughts to overcloud your vision for yourself, the way you really see yourself and the way you really want to be. It's possible. I'm sitting right here telling you I've been through hell and back, and I survived. Soon as I started transitioning, it felt like something lifted up off of me, and it didn't matter that I was losing my job. It didn't matter that I was losing my house. Yeah, all those things hurt because those are tangible things, but I knew somehow I would survive all that, and I could start all over again somewhere else. And I kept trying to start and kept trying to start, and I moved and traveled. The stories are all there in my story time. I just want to share that with you guys. Please be safe, love yourself, affirm yourself, and don't ever give up. I love you. Bye.